Now I want to talk about the threat multiplier. Uh, I met some BMs in dungeon cross-server dungeon runs, and they are under the impression that the threat skill stack. Let me tell you, the threat skill does not stack. These that you have here, um, some people think just because I go and then I hit while the other was up, I will be stacking 150% multiplier. No, what it only does, it only resets back to its uh, normal timer, that is 10 seconds. So let me stress again, your threat skill won't stack. No matter how soon you hit, it won't stack. See, it goes back to 10 seconds. That's it. That's why sometimes I prefer doing a cyclone, because that if I counter the boss with the cyclone, um, I will be I won't have to worry about my threat multiplier for 30 seconds, and that's a lot. Then uh, you will have two threat multipliers, and that will be your skills. That will be your 5-point strike and your searing slash. That generates 3 times the damage of that skill itself. So that gets combined with your 150% threat multiplier. People are talking about the 300% threat multiplier. It's not 300%, it's 150%, which means, yes, it is 3 times the damage, but it's 150. 300%, that's insane. You will have to do 9 times the damage that I do so as to take aggro from me, and no, it's 3 times 150%, not 300% as people say. If you want to be the tanker, I usually open, of course, with my Homon Z. I showed it in another video. So basically, you will want this when you do the Searing Slash and the 5-point strike. So that means that 3 times generated aggro plus your 150% multiplier. Think it this way: if without the 150% multiplier, it was 3 times the damage of threat. With the 150% multiplier, it was 9 times the damage of threat. So yes, it is very difficult to take aggro nowadays from a BM just because of that. Now we have legendary soul shields, and I'm very excited to have them. If you want to be the damage dealer and somebody else is tanking, of course, legendary social, you will go 5 legendary plus 3 oblivion, just because of that extra damage. But if you're the tanker, you want to go full 8, because you will be doing 5-point strike every 5 or 6 seconds. So yes, we will be generating a lot of threat. So if it was difficult to take threat before we got the legendary socials, it will be much more difficult now, because we'll be generating a lot of threats against the boss. So imagine this 5-point strike hitting every seconds and not every 36 seconds. And yeah, and another thing, it's the 5-point strike is also an iframe by itself, so we will be 5-point striking a lot if we are the tanker. We're not gonna be doing as much damage, but yes, we will be doing a lot of threat. You want threat over damage if you are the tanker. So I cannot stress enough how the more Dragon Tongue you do, the more damage you're gonna be able to do. Now that was my 2 for that double stun. Now let me talk about the double CCs when you're doing mechanics. Sometimes when I'm in Evandrake, nowadays it will require you to do double CC. For my days, I usually go with my 5-point strike PvP. The reason for that is because I don't want sacrificing your lunar slash for your... I have a dummy there that is like countering all the time, and it's very annoying. Hang on, let me go back and forth. Sacrificing your Lunar Slash is very it's very valuable, so you don't want to spec your Lunar Slash in 2 days. That may have been like in the old days, but no, now you want that fire tab. And yes, so I will go 5-point strike stage 1 tier 2. If it's a mob, you know, I want like that 3-second daze. For my double knockdown, I will do 3 and Z, and yes, I have the double stun right there. I have 3 extra skill points, put it wherever you want. I usually put it in spears. So let's imagine that we're in the first boss and then he does shoulder charge. Okay, so home on block for you not to get knockback, and then SS, and then you finish it with the C. That's how I do the mechanic, the daze mechanic. Then of course for your knockdown, it's your 3 plus Z, or the other way around, whichever works for you. And then for the stun, just because we approach with the 2 and then you finish with the X there, yeah, that will be your double stun. Sometimes the boss does a shoulder like back to back, so that's very annoying. So let's say that I just used my 5-point strike, so I don't have it up yet, and then my teammates need the daze, so you can help there with your shoulder charge, or then you can help with lightning retribution is called for the daze. So yes, you will have like a range daze. Remember to spec it back to the PBE one once you're done with that boss. And okay, I think that's all I need to talk about lightning BMs. Oh yeah, and then after I'm done in Ebon Drake with the mechanics, I just switch these with these, because I know that I'm gonna be chasing the boss around a lot. I usually chase it around with my raid because it only has a 9-second cooldown, but sometimes he's like all over the map, so I just chase it with my 2, and I know that I have my threat multiplier. And you know, each dragon tank that I do, I know that it's a guaranteed threat multiplier. And then another one, oh, I want to talk about this. So if each flicker lowers the cooldown of the dragon tank, each dragon tank lowers the cooldown of a tab. So you tap, you dragon tank, go there, then flicker, then you have it up again. See, it will look like this, something like this. You sometimes I lag, so instead of that's why I say I only do 6 to 7 dragon tanks. That depends on your ping. Definitely there's BMs out there that do less dragon tank for each tab, and there's BMs out there that do more dragon tanks for each tab, but that's very ping related. Now that was all for fire BM. For lightning BM, what I want to talk about, it's still I have it spec'd for. Okay, this is how you spec if you don't want to. You just get rid of your threat skills, right? Let's say that somebody else is tanking and you definitely don't want to take the aggro out of them. So okay, 5-point strike and Searing Slash, okay, just leave it there because those do a lot of damage and it's an iframe by itself, but you don't want that threat multiplier. So in your rush, just put 1 point there, chase it around with the 6-second cooldown, and then in your raid, yeah, don't put the 150% multiplier, your 3, don't use the Southern Sword, of course. And yeah, just be wary about this section here. And just because you're not gonna go stunning, then you don't need an extra point in your boat. So if somebody else is tanking, just concentrate on how many Dragon Tons you're gonna be doing. And then also I forgot to unspec, but yeah, oh no, I didn't forget. Yes, you don't want to spec this either. If you're doing, if somebody else is tanking for you, don't take aggro from them. So let me talk about the Lightning BM. Lightning BM, of course, you want your Lunar Slash in Lightning mode, Blaze Storm in Lightning mode. Now, for Hone Slash, if you're gonna use a flash step a lot, yes, go ahead and Hone Slash stage 1 tier 2, but if not, that only decreases your flash step. If you're skill point hungry, you don't need to go tier 2. I usually do because I do flash step a lot, like mobility. Let me retrain all this. So skill, lunar tap there, flash tap. Oh my god, I'm a little confused. I usually don't do my builds like this in a Greek mode. When you're home on Z, your tap, your rush. Oh, I have the dummy there. Okay. Okay, your rush, threat multiplier, your 5-point strike. Okay, lightning draw of go stage 2 tier 5. I usually put one skill there, just because when I'm using Blade Call, I don't need to go all the way down. This is a PvP skill. Lightning Rod here, yes, of course. This one, since you don't need the Dragon Tongue effect, you're gonna go for the Fulmination effect, and for the Fulmination effect is not that it decreases cooldown or anything. There's no cooldown for Hone Slash, but you will get like infinite focus. Well, it's up, so it's a very good buff to have. Yeah, so basically Hone Slash, while you have that effect, you know, you can go like, see, while I had the buff up, I wasn't running out of focus, but as soon as it's gone, yes, our Hone Slash is gonna be very focus hungry. That's why you always go with your flicker. Try to go, and then you will have to raid in there, and then you can see how it's going down. So yeah, then go tap there. Yeah, the anti-canceling for Lightning BMs, it's very focus hungry. It's very difficult to do. That's why you need all your focus recovery skills to do it. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna see that your focus is going to be running a lot. But yeah, that's the animation cancel that, you know, we used to do. The good part about this, it's you're not gonna be animation locked, so you can block, or you can counter, you have more versatility, and if you can keep yourself in draw stance for long period of time, just it's a very good skill to have, because in the end I think you do more damage with lightning, just because you go back into normal stance a lot. Yeah, people are having like a lot of trouble, but I think in the end, if you have like a very good ping, ping is another issue for the lightning BMs, but in the end, if you have like a very good ping and you can control your focus by your skill rotations, then yeah, I think having a lightning BM is more fun, and you're not gonna be, yeah, it's way fun. You have more versatility, and There's so many ways to go back into draw stance. You have your Q, you have your SS, nowadays you have your tab, you have your lightning draw. So yeah, play around with it. Lightning BM, especially with the introduction of lightning accessories, it's a very good thing to have. Our strength is in our animation cancel. So it's time that you hone slash, you will put that extra flicker in there. Oh my god, it's been a long time that I didn't do this, but yeah, that's our strengths. It should be like animation canceling. Speaking about animation canceling, I remember back in the day we didn't have our tab. Our only way to go back to draw style was the QSS. We didn't even have Homon Z, so I didn't even have the Homon palette. I used to remember I used to like a skill, another any cancel, which was the Pierce Breeze any cancel. So for those of you that don't have HMZ or well tab, you have of course, but for those of you that you don't have, for example, like the Homon palette or the Elixir, the Azure Ember, yeah, if you're a Lightning BM, your possibilities of going back to draw stance are limited. So while you're in normal stance and you have one of your skills back, used to go like that. The good thing about this, that's the Breeze Pierce cancel. You never run out of focus, and that's like an okay damage. Oh my god, I lost a lot of practice, but yes, that's your Breeze Pierce and cancel. We don't use it, frankly we never use it nowadays, just because there's so many ways to go back into draw stance. So there's no reason for you to use it. But yeah, if you're running out of focus and you kind of go back into draw stance, yeah, that's another thing that you want. Another thing that I want to mention is about our QE. So basically every time that you Q or E, you will have like an 8-second cooldown. It's advisable if you're gonna iframe, you Q, because let me tell you, every time that you're in draw stance and every time that you're in draw stance, you will be able to Q. I mean to E. So let's say I am in tab, E, SS, E, Homon Z, E, lightning draw, E, Q, E, the most obvious one. So yeah, in PvP, P wise, somebody called Q, E, Q, SS, E, Q. So yeah, you can play around with that. So just remember that every time that you're in draw stance, you can E. So that's another strength that we BMs have. So I think that's all that I want to talk about, the basics of Blade Masters. I hope you enjoyed this video. Any comments or any suggestions about my build, I'm always open to discuss. So thank you for watching. And yes, my name is Rory Mercury. I'm in low right now, and please do comment or any advice that you have. That will be very welcome.